Guys, and welcome back to Start Somewhere. I'm your host Isabelle, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe so that way you never miss an episode. But today we are going to be talking all about a topic that I am so freaking passionate about, and that is meditation. Welcome to Start Somewhere, your personal development podcast, bringing you episodes on topics of self-empowerment, mindset, motivation, spirituality, and so much more. Every Tuesday, I inspire you with a brand new episode. It's time to start somewhere together. Why you should start to meditate today. And I really plan to, by the end of this episode, hopefully have convinced you to, if not start meditating, at least think about starting meditating. So there is power in finding strength in stillness. And this is the main theme that comes to my mind when I really think about meditating and the power that it has. How often do you second guess yourself on a decision that you are about to make or that you have just made? Or how often do you obsess and worry about what people think of you? You stay up at night overthinking, it plays on your mind constantly. And how many of you wish you could take a really bold move, whether that is speaking a mind to somebody or introducing yourself to someone new or sending the first message to somebody, maybe doing something even bigger like leaving a job that isn't fulfilling or leaving a relationship that is just not serving you anymore. These are all really scary, bold things to do. I think I've done all of them now, but looking back, I used to be fearful to do all of these things, every single one. And it wasn't until I looked back and saw what it was that I started implementing into my life that when I then started to see these changes, and it made it so much easier for me to then make these decisions and do things without second guessing myself and not worrying or obsessing over what people think of me, over doing anything that I basically want to do. And this common theme that is holding so many of us back is overthinking. And constant overthinking basically increases your anxious thoughts. It increases your level of anxiety, and that can just open so many doors to so many other avenues. But we really can just put a halt to all of this before it gets too bad. And we can start to improve our confidence in ourselves and be sure of our decisions and be more decisive and make decisions that are going to benefit us in the long run, especially. And we're not just doing things just because our friends are doing it, and we're not just fitting into the crowd just because it's what we should be doing. Like, we are living in our truth. We are being authentic to who we are, and it can feel really scary and uncomfortable to do it first because you're doing something that other people aren't doing. And that's not something that we're used to. We've grown up in a society where we all do really, really similar things. If we are really privileged enough, we've all gone to primary school and high school, and most of us, I'm sure, have chosen to go into some kind of other study, whether that doesn't just have to be uni, but like a TAFE course or just another kind of course to get us in a general area of our life, and then we go get a job in that field, and then we just continue forward in life that way. And that's just something that we were taught as kids. That's just something that is in our society around us. And when people start to step out of this conformity and people start to step out and do things that are out of the irregular, it can feel scary and daunting to do. And I know we've all got something in our minds, in our hearts that we want to follow. And we also all work jobs that we sometimes don't want to work, and we think it's because we have to work them. But there is just so much power in being authentic to yourself and listening to that voice that you have and following that idea or that passion that you have, whether it's opening a cafe, starting your own business, like it can be anything, being a PT, like it doesn't matter what it is, but everyone has some kind of passion in their heart that they want to follow, because our work should be something that is fulfilling to us and that doesn't really feel like work. And that is so possible to achieve. And I'm going to share how meditating comes into this whole entire mix. If you follow my journey for a while, if you tuned in as well to last week's episode, it kind of turned into a big talk about meditation as well. And I really touched more so on my journey with it and kind of the struggles I first came up with when I was meditating. So I used to struggle to follow my intuition for the life of me. I had these gut feelings, I got these signs, but I ignored them because I wanted to blend in with everybody else. I didn't want to stand up from the crowd. I just played it safe and I just did what I thought I had to do. But I didn't realize that by not following my intuition, it was honestly doing more harm than good. But I realized it wasn't until I started to become really committed to meditating that I was so easily able to follow my intuition. And I let it guide me in a way that it just navigated my life in the exact direction that I wanted it to go in. And now, from constantly meditating, it makes it so much easier to only listen to your intuition, but follow it and actually take action in the area that you want it to go in. And it's funny, like I was talking to my brother the other day and we were just talking about, where I'm at in life and work-wise and that kind of thing. And I was telling him, what I'm doing and how I'm going out on my own in marketing and I've already got my first clients and it's all just happening so rapidly, but so perfectly, or it looks like perfectly anyway, but it just feels so right. And it's because I'm standing in my truth. I'm being authentically who I am. And when we're talking about this and he's like, so how'd you get these clients? And I was like, to be honest, they came to me. They messaged me and it just happened like that. And he's like, wow, it's like this shit just comes to you. Like these leads just come to you. My old job, it came to me. He approached me. And that's always been the way in so many things in my life recently. And yes, this can look like luck, but it's not. It's a whole lot of hard work. And what I mean by this, it's hard work and commitment to yourself. It's hard working on yourself because by putting that into yourself, it's going to overflow into the universe. It's going to overflow and then it's going to come back into your life tenfold. And this is the reward that you get from being authentically yourself, from standing in your truth. At the start of the year, I made it my goal. I don't really think I set any 2021 goals, but I had this one and I came across it the other day and it was very simple and all it said was to stand in my truth. And basically what this means is for me to stop playing it safe and to stop living a life that I think I need to live and to basically just take that bold action and progress forward in the area that I actually want to go in. And meditating has been like my rock to get me there. And so I have reflected and come up with the 3 main benefits on why you need to start meditating today. And the first one is remaining calm. So the most successful person in any room is the person who is the most calm. Calm is literally a superpower because it allows you to handle any negative situation or thought in the most boss way, basically, in the most tasteful, eloquently way, because you are not associating yourself with the negative thought, the negative encounter, the negative person. You are not associating yourself with that. You are able to distinguish it as just what it is, just a thought, just an experience, just an emotion. And by observing it and separating yourself apart from it, it just gives you this aura of calmness and it allows you to find solutions so much easier. And also by being in this super calm state, like I am all for working hard at your job, at life, training hard, hustling hard. Like I'm all for that stuff, to be honest. I think it's great. I think that's how you get to where you want to be in life. But by just having this sense of calm around you, it enables you to do things more efficiently and more effectively. That's been another big thing with meditation is I really don't believe or agree in multitasking. I don't think it's that effective, but meditating allows you to stay focused for so much longer and it also allows you to get so much more done. And because you are in this super calm state, it's like you're floating, it's like everyone else is kind of down here, kind of caught up in the hustle and bustle and that kind of thing. And when you take the time to meditate, you're able to just honestly like levitate, and you're just able to observe things for what they are. And you honestly cultivate the most like epic strength in stillness ability. And that is powerful. Like that is so, so powerful. And I remember at my old job when things were getting really bad. And I remember one day, like, I kind of cracked. It kind of really got to me. And I got really upset. And one of the girls was like, oh, like, shit, like, Isabelle's cracked. Like, she's like the strongest one here, like, supposedly. And I was like, fuck, like, it happens to all of us, to be honest. But I basically just want to say, like, we all go through bad times. But I still was able to remain calm, like, 98% of the time, but still had my moment. And so number 2, I think this is my favorite so much, and that is clarity. The amount of clarity meditation brings you is endless. So you can stop feeling confused and doubtful and lost altogether. And chances are you're feeling this way. I've personally felt all of these things so many times, and I didn't know who I was, what I wanted, where I wanted to go. I was constantly just replying to everything with I don't know. And that is the most frustrating answer, I think, anyway, to have. And I found this was a lot of the times when I was in a place in my life that I didn't want to be in because I didn't know what I wanted. I was around people that I didn't want to be around. I was in a job I didn't want to be in, but that's because I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I realized that was me not being true to me. So back to what I mentioned at the start, how my goal is to stand in my truth. And that basically means navigating and living a life that I want. We are so allowed to live a life that involves jet setting across the whole entire world, traveling to epic countries, meeting cool people, never like quote unquote working a day in your life. You can make that happen if you want it bad enough and if you have a good enough plan and clarity around it. There are so many people who live a life like that, and it's so possible for anyone to achieve. So the other thing I found that meditation gives, which really goes hand in hand with the clarity, is the confidence. So you really can start to think of the life that you want to live, and then you have this confidence to follow it and to be like, fucking yes, I deserve to live like this. And that kind of takes guts. Like not everyone is bold enough to, okay, think it, but then actually follow through and pursue it. Like that is scary. Like that is uncertain, unknown territory if you've never done it before. But by really strengthening this practice of meditating and you're committing to yourself and you're showing this like epic self-love to yourself, you're going to be rewarded in the long run. And by having this clarity and this confidence, you can really just figure out exactly the life you want to live and start living it to a T. And I touched on this as well in my last episode. Like I am constantly creating my own reality. I'm constantly manifesting and thinking up and writing out the life that I want, and it's happening. It just gives me like chills. Like it makes me speechless to see that I am the creator of my own life and you are the creator of your own life. Like you have the power to do all of this stuff, and it just gives me chills to see that I am just living the life that I just so badly have always wanted to live. And I owe it so much to meditating. And the last benefit of meditation, I've kind of touched on this briefly, but I'm making this a whole point, is that things will mostly always work out in your favor. And this is the biggest thing ever. We can't look at things as like quote unquote lucky. Like, I don't know if luck is a thing, but the closest thing to luck I find is by committing to meditating, you are going to be rewarded in countless ways. And this kind of goes hand in hand with journaling and manifesting and meditating. They all go together as like one epic bundle to live a life that you want to live. And basically by pairing all of these together, so you're meditating, you're cultivating the strength and stillness, you're showing this dedication to yourself, and then you're journaling. So you're kind of getting a bit more clarity as well. You're figuring out what it is that you want. And through your journaling practice, you can manifest. And by combining them all together and making this a consistent routine in your life, you're going to start to see that things will mostly always work out in your favor. So like the story I mentioned just before with getting my job, like I got really clear. When I first started off, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, ugh, I hate thinking like this. I hate not knowing. And so I started to get clear. I started to dedicate time to myself and learning to be okay with being uncomfortable for a bit of time. And then the more I did this, I started to get even more clear about what it is that I wanted. And okay, I wasn't crystal clear. I didn't know the exact specifics or anything like that yet, but I focused on the feeling that I wanted to feel. And that is how we manifest. We focus on the feeling. We forget about the how, but we focus on how we want this thing to make us feel. Okay, so by doing that, I was getting clear. I was thinking, okay, what does my routine look like? How does that make me feel? How does the work make me feel? How do my clients make me feel? And by doing this, you're starting simple, you're starting small. Like it's such an effortless way to begin this way of thinking, because it's so easy for us to think of how we want to feel. It's pretty much always, it should always be some kind of positive emotion, whatever that means to you. And the more we start doing this, the more clarity we get. So by continuing this practice daily, if you can, we're getting clearer and clearer and clearer. And then eventually we get to a point where we have a pretty good idea on what it is that we want. And we're really able to just hone in on this, and we know what the feeling feels like, and we can start to kind of step into that feeling and really embody it. And so by consistently meditating, it allows you to really just get into this overall vibe, basically. Like your vibe is everything. Vibes are everything. Vibes do not lie. That like corny quote is such a thing. Like you can just feel when vibes are off in a room, in a situation with people. Like vibes forever. But basically, you are lifting your vibe up, so your vibration, which also is your frequency, it kind of means the same thing. So you're lifting your vibration up, and that way you are then able to attract this thing to you. And this is pretty much exactly what I did. So for this only took me a week. That's pretty cool. So within a week, I got back from my holiday from the Whitsundays. I got back. I was sunburned. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was like, fuck, what's going on? And I was like, okay, this is a time where I can put everything that I know to good use. So that's what I did. So I got really clear on how I wanted my work, my life, my clients, everything, how I wanted it to feel. And I just continued to dabble with this every single day for, 5, 6, 7 days. And eventually a week and a half rolled by, and I was sitting in my room and I was just kind of thinking, what am I doing with my life? And I reached to my phone. I hadn't checked it in a while. And that's where I see my first lead. My first client had reached out to me. I signed her up straight away. We jumped to the meeting. We got the ball rolling. I've been working with her for over only a week now. Wow. And it's going so great. There's already so many opportunities coming my way. And it's because I focus on this feeling. And back to the story with my brother, he's like, things just always work out for you. And I'm like, they do. They do always work out for me because I have the self-confidence and the self-belief. And I just want to give a not so positive example of this. So when everything was happening with my job, like that was nothing working out in my favor at all. I had just finally settled into a job. I was there for not even 6 months. I was happy with the work. I was happy with the people I was with. It was down the road from my house. I manifested it. It was everything that I wanted. And it just got like broken in front of me. And that sucked so much at the time. But, yet again, I came back to my mantra that I always tell myself, the universe has my back. The universe has my back. Like, it's going to be fine, whatever happens. So I just did my best. I was able to remain calm in all the situations. I was able to still find some kind of clarity in the direction I was maybe going to head in. Not really though. Like, I still, it's not always perfect. But basically, that whole situation crumbling right down in front of me was what I needed to happen in order for me to step into where I am right now. If that had never happened, I would still be there. I would still be working like 8 till 5, 5 days a week, and I wouldn't be able to dedicate more time to my own stuff, to my own brand, to my coaching now, which has just come into my life. Like all of these things happen as a result from other things fading away that no longer serve you. And the point of this story is, okay, yes, that did not look like it was working out in my favor. I was like, fuck, do I have bad luck with jobs or something? I just couldn't seem to find a secure job that was like fulfilling for my needs and what I wanted in life. And when I thought I finally had it, it just disappeared straight away. But the point is, at the end of that whole situation, it eventually worked out in my favor because it then enabled me, it gave me the push that I needed to go out on my own and to stand in my truth and to trust myself and to have that bold confidence that I'm constantly talking and sharing that I want you guys to cultivate as well. And I owe all of that to meditating because the biggest thing is the confidence. Like confidence is a result from all of these things, from number 1, remaining calm in situations, number 2, having clarity, and number 3, just trusting that things are always going to work out in your favor. Like that is intense confidence in yourself. Like that is next level confidence, because somebody who isn't that sure of themselves or their decisions or their direction in life, it's going to be hard for them to navigate all of those things. And I know that because that used to be me. I used to be the most shy, unconfident person. Is that a word? Like I just, no, that was not me at all. Like I've just completely done a 360 in who I am, but I just feel so like calm and sure of that person who I've become. And I really hope to educate and teach people on this topic so much more, because end of the day, everything that I do, it comes back to meditating. Like I feel in all my episodes, I somehow waggle it in there. Waggle? I feel like in all my episodes, I somehow like get it in there in so much of my content. I mean, I do it every single day of my life, basically. Meditation is my jam. It is my jam, and I adore it to pieces. And if you're looking for a guided meditation, I have released one specifically just for you. I will link it in the show notes as well. So it is a guided one. So I think this is a really good beginner for people who are just starting out with meditating. I mean, whether you've been meditating for a year or a day or not at all, like it's just always really good to go back to refreshers. And this is a guided meditation that is really just going to help you find your Zen, because finding your Zen is, I think, the answer to success. And the meaning of success, I think, is happiness. So who doesn't want to live a Zen/happy/confident life? I think we all do. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved speaking about this. It really lights me up and makes me feel really, really good about the messages and the content that I'm putting out there for you guys. So don't forget to check out the guided meditation as well. It'll be linked in the show notes. And until then, I will speak to you in the next episode.